3, 2, 1. This is what professionals do. Hi, I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. What's up, man?
It's been a bit. It's been a while. I think we say that at the beginning of every single podcast.
Yeah, but for real, this time it really has been a bit because I was actually logging in there today because I had a friend be like, how many people actually listen to it?
Downloads in a bit.
Well, I saw it and it was like the last post is December 8th and I'm like, that's not good because it's January 17th.
We've been really slacking, but it's only because we promised that our next podcast would have a guest on it.
And we actually had done this before, but there was a lot of echo.
Yeah, so don't get off our backs. We did it already, so this is round 2 of it. So you'll never hear first one, but our guest. Hey. So I'd like to introduce our guest. This is Andrew Swan, or Swanee as we call him. So if you guys hear me say Swanee, that's what I'm talking about. How are you doing today?
What's up? I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Yeah, thanks for being our first official guest that isn't just a dude that we knew that was like friends.
You're going to be even better this time because you already did this before. You
already
did the icebreaker.
You're a seasoned pro now.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. All it takes is about 40 minutes of chatting on a podcast, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. It took a bit to realize that it's just having a normal conversation.
Yeah. So, Swanee, tell the audience a little about yourself and what you do in SEO.
So I am technically the digital PR manager at where we work, and we manage mainly the link outreach and some of the PR initiatives that we're doing as well.
So you do link building, but on a massive scale. And how big is the team that you manage right now?
Right now it's seven strong, and we're looking to expand slightly on the freelance side.
Yeah, and then on top of that, do you guys buy links from other sources and stuff too?
We did in the past, but that's something we haven't done in a while, and we're kind of evaluating that process right now.
All right. So if you're listening in, our episode is going to be about link building on a massive scale. So sort of link building at a larger corporation that has a budget behind it, and sort of getting results that way, and how you set up your team, how you find resources, and you find link opportunities, and managing all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to preface one thing because based off our last podcast, and I don't think this one's going to look anything similar to the previous one because how could it? Because I don't really remember.
I don't remember.
But one thing I want to say now, because we realized this about 20 minutes into the last one, is that this is 100% applicable to almost anyone. So even though we're prefacing and saying it's going to be for a corporation, large scale, all this kind of stuff, you're going to have a ton of takeaways for almost any form of
all the strategies in here you can do as an individual.
So don't tune out. That's the point.
It's for everybody, not just people working at big time jobs.
Great. So where did we start last time?
Shit. So Swanee, tell me a little bit about how you set up your team, how you manage them, and what their day-to-day stuff is.
So everyone, each is kind of responsible for their own campaigns and their own success. We'll do whatever we can, and any kind of training that they want to do, help in any area of their job, I'll help with. But campaign creation and their actual process is totally up to them. I taking a little bit of a less of a hands-on approach. I give them the freedom to be a little bit more creative and use their own templates.
How's that work out? I mean, without naming any names, because
I'll tell you right now. So it keeps them a little bit happier, but I'll tell you right now. Lately, I've noticed we kind of been slipping a little bit and performance going down. There has been a few occurrences that have caused the entire team to go remote for. Since the end of last year, so I have not actually been able to sit in the same room.
So a month.
New occurrences. The last time we chatted and had this conversation was a month ago, and you're like, wait until you see what happens in a month, and here it is.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen them. Literally, we had an incident at one of our other locations where a pipe exploded of some kind.
Wow.
And they had to move that entire office into our office, which has been quite an experience.
We're working with all the salespeople, all the salesies.
You have to order the snacks twice as often now.
Oh man,
that's not even the worst part.
We're out of coffee real quick in that office now.
Quality of the bathroom and the cleanliness level.
Before we get into that too much, let's not get into that.
I was going to say real quick, people poop a lot.
Yeah, they poop.
If you didn't know,
a lot of people poop a lot. So let's sort of break it down a little bit more. So how do they find links to begin with?
So a number of ways. So we can either use a tool like Scrapebox, which we can run a number of advanced search queries at one time and essentially scrape the SERPs for a bunch of different keywords and search strings, and then from there we can also chase competitor backlinks, which is also pretty effective.
So you guys actually use Scrapebox at your office to do that, right?
We do.
And so for like a lot of people listening to this, they probably have no idea like what Scrapebox is, what it takes to like run it. So it's definitely like a more well-known tool in the SEO industry. And you would consider it a black hat tool because it is exactly a black hat tool. So let's talk a little about like how it works and what it does. And I think it's not very expensive, but just wait for our affiliate link in the comments. If you want to purchase it afterwards,
look at you pushing
that
this
we're gonna have to
2019.
find. Give me your
Coming right
money,
at you folks.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I need to pay these bills to have this hosted, guys. But yeah, let's talk a little about how Scrapebox works and like how to set it up. Because if you just get it and you use it, you're gonna get like your IP address banned from Google.
Absolutely.
So if you're like, this sounds like a cool tool, we're gonna describe how it works. But if you just use it, you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna have to not have Google at your house because your IP address has been banned from Google, and that's pretty fucking inconvenient.
When Paul says
One way
Google
to
at your
stop
house,
Wi-Fi leeching.
you mean Google like a rep will show up,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, like Paul said, it's a very powerful tool. You can do thousands of different things with it. Some of them are harmless, little advances that we can do, by scraping the SERPs, like I described to you earlier. And if some people do use it for black hat stuff, you can mass blog or forum comment. You can do a bunch of crazy stuff with it. But like you said, it is tricky to use, and we actually purchase we have a proxy service that we purchase a number of proxies each month, and they refresh each month just in the events that we do get them banned. But I even keep the configuration tuned way down so that there's a real long delay, and I usually only one run engine at the time. So.
Yeah. So if you don't know what a proxy is, it's just basically a way of masking where the internet access is coming from for this service, right? So, when you log into Google or whatever, those websites know your IP address. So it's almost like a house address, and it knows like your location and everything. There's a lot of information there about the user. And what proxies do is like it just basically says that it's coming from a different place. So if it gets banned or it gets kicked off being used from Google, then you just load up another one and you can keep using the tool.
Does it automatically like bounce IPs like periodically, or is it kind of just one, and then once it gets kind of sluggish, you move another one?
Yep. It'll move. I use all of the ones that we purchase each month. We get about 30, and I plug all of them straight into.
Yeah. How much did they cost?
That I honestly cannot tell you because that
Not
was
your
all
problem.
Everything was set up before prior to me
the least of your worries.
starting working.
So
there.
so essentially, you would say like you're in Dubuque, Iowa, and then you bounce to Lubbock, Texas, and you bounce to like Thousand Oaks, California, and all these other obscure cities. I'm mentioning.
It bounces Germany.
Yeah, a lot
It's
of
like a
you don't do
VPN.
EU.
A lot of them are either in Los Angeles or Oklahoma. From what I see. I don't know why, but
Oklahoma's that tech hub,
oh
Yeah.
That makes sense.
absolutely.
Cool.
Silicon Plains.
But yeah,
And I know that outreach is a big thing we discussed last time. We actually didn't really talk about Scrapebox too much, and that's a nice little tidbit that we threw in this time around.
oh yeah.
But speaking about outreach, because that's still very prevalent for on the higher level, what's going to change about your outreach in 2019 compared to 2018 through 2010?
Link building for 2019.
Oh yeah, put it in there. Let's transcribe it 2019 all the way.
2019, baby, coming at you.
Oh, one thing that's like a super side note. Apparently, there's an AWS tool that's free that's really good at transcribing now.
Oh, really?
That I want to look into.
Free.
Just like to hear about it, it's free, and apparently it's my buddy's like a super good programmer told me that AWS offers a translator that's like pretty insanely good.
AWS is the shit in general.
Well, I mean,
like, everything they have
it's the shit. So it's like
fantastic.
AWS plus like the
Like their
tech
server
background of the people that back that up plus transcription is.
We should look into that.
Let's go for it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was a little side thing.
It's real helpful when you're trying to make your site ADA compliant.
So like, this is a really good question. I know when I
point
was first starting off in SEO, like a full-time, SEO analyst, guest posting was like the thing, right? Like as many guest posts as you can possibly get. And even back then, like we didn't even care like where they were coming from, like so the amount of yoga websites that had articles about like online nursing programs, there were a lot.
Oh yeah.
So we were just like ruthless. We did not care. Anyone that we would get a yes from, we would basically get a guest post on. And Google really sort of like devalued guest post links from things that weren't related to those like topics.
Some of them are crazy now. You see, like I saw one the other day that it was like a mommy blog website. It was an article about finance, and then randomly I saw it wasn't one of ours, but it was a competitor's OxyContin link was thrown in the very footnote of the article.
We're getting it all in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Couple instances of that. Just spun content. If you read more than 2 lines of it outside where the link is, it didn't make sense whatsoever.
So how do you approach guest posting now, and then sort of like make sure your team's doing all that?
Before we do it, can we talk about like the quick, from what I've seen, we've seen like the quick evolution of outreach from what like I've seen, and see how you guys are going to approach it maybe in a unique way in 2019. Because originally the first time I got outreach was just like, hey, I noticed you have a page for resourceful links. I think this link would be appropriate. And it's like, F off, like this, that's stupid. And then it became like, I have this article, but then, who cares? But then it's like, I'm going to write you an article. And then it just like evolved into being like more and more catered, more specific, more personalized. To a point where people are like, even me, I hate outreach, and we've talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
But like to the point where I'm like, I'm almost going to humor it, because it's like, hey, I noticed this thing specifically that I looked at for real, and it's not spam. It's like literally just for your website. I want to do this thing. And so I feel like it's still evolving. So that being said, like, how do you still keep up with the trend when make outreach?
How do you evolve
relevant
for outreach?
Well, like you said, a lot back in the day, a lot of people just moved to guest post on a bunch of different random irrelevant websites. So obviously in the industry that we're in, like you said, it's a little bit more stringent, I should say, with the rules, and we've got to kind of play by the rules a little bit more than some other industries. So guest posting, definitely moving forward. No more purchasing links like that, because they're not worth anything, especially if you get them from a crappy website, kind of like what we were just talking about, where it doesn't make any sense at all. And then, as you said, kind of like what we were talking about the first time we recorded this, is moving forward, I really want to focus on trying to do more of the outreach, like what you're talking about, and ones that actually provide content, make sense, show the actual relationship there.
So is it still going to be like, I want to provide an article specifically for you, I'm going to write it, it's going to be like X, Y, and Z. Is it still going to be like that? Is there like another like iteration that's going to be even more enticing in 2019?
Honestly, I'm not sure. We have not made any real strides yet in that kind of PR type department. So,
well, what about like, for example, maybe the next iteration would be like, I noticed that you have a page on your website that has full of good information, but I noticed like X, Y, and Z, and this page is actually outdated. So why don't I have a lot of information that backs up. What if I like rewrote this page for you or something?
There you go.
See, that just came like out of nowhere. Yeah. You don't
That's not a bad idea.
You don't even have to do like
our listeners came here for tips.
Yeah,
but we got
that's
tips.
What I'm
I
talking about.
smoked a ton of weed before, and I'm inspired. Actually, I don't smoke at all.
Yeah,
But
You're gonna play this back, and you're just gonna be like rambling.
It's gonna be like Wolf on
that
Wall
was such a
Street.
good idea. No, it wasn't. But like that's what I
That is a
imagine
good
what
idea.
another iteration would be, is like, well, maybe I shouldn't give them a topic they don't think is relevant, but if they have a topic that I can prove is outdated, for example, there's like, it's contingent on like dates, or it's like it was trending at the time, it could be updated. I don't know.
It's a good call. It's almost like broken link building,
But it's
in
like
a sense,
broken
but morphed
content.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Outdated content building.
I can imagine it's just like, that's a great article for 2017.
So, do you have your team basically find these websites based on relevancy? Is that how they're doing?
Relevant, especially in our specific industry, relevance is kind of a big thing.
So you're just like, hey guys, go out there and Google this subject.
Yeah.
And find some sites that are talking about it.
We're also going to tighten the grip on that a little bit more, and we're going to try to keep it more honed in on specifically what we do.
So, as an SEO, one of the tools that we use a lot is Screaming Frog, right? It's a great tool. Do you guys use that for broken link building on other websites?
Currently on this team we haven't. I have it at my previous an agency that I worked at. We used a little bit more, but
Yeah.
we haven't. I have not used that approach with our Screaming Frog yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now we're still I'm trying to wrap up all the initiatives that the prior director had in before us, and so we're trying to kill
'cause,
off the stuff that we talked about before. And
Yeah, I'm gonna explain a little bit for like the listeners too how that shit works.
Why don't you go ahead and dumb that shit down?
I will make this
I don't know what I'm
easy.
allowed
I don't think you
I
can
don't
explain what
guys.
IP is again, but
Look,
I don't know what I'm allowed to
Dude,
say.
you
and
don't
what I'm not.
know.
It's the
you can say
confusing
whatever
part.
you want, man. We are unbridled.
Yeah, but and keep my job is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. I don't think. I don't know if anyone that we work with listens to this. I
not
doubt it.
yet. This
No,
becomes
not.
our premiere
Let me
podcast.
tell you,
We gotta
let me
just
tell you,
premiere the
one
name of
person
it.
finds it and drops it in Slack.
shit.
And boom. There it is.
I would just be
Never
embarrassed.
believe.
So the way this works, right, is there's a tool called Screaming Frog. It's sort of
Great
freemium, right? So you can use it up to a certain amount of like URLs that it'll crawl, and then there's like a paid version of it. What it does is it crawls through your website, like literally every page of your website, and it finds all this different data that could be useful for you. So like links, like outbound links from pages that you have, like all the metadata with like the page titles, the meta descriptions, like, and you can put any URL in that you want, and it'll crawl that.
You can hook up the different APIs like Majestic, Moz, and Google Analytics and pull all those metrics as well.
But it'll crawl stuff and it'll find broken links on websites, right? So if you find a website that's really relevant to like the subject that you're trying to link build for, right? So let's use an example. That's not where we work.
Payday loans.
Payday loans. Viagra
We should
sales.
just default to those grimy industries that we love so much.
We already work in grimy enough industries as it is. We'll just talk about yoga.
It gets
Here we go.
darker, folks.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Don't let 'em fool you.
It's the darkest year ever.
Neutral awful. Okay, cool.
Um,
Yoga's good.
So yeah, so if you find another website that's talking about yoga, right, and you're a yoga website, and so you throw that bad boy in Screaming Frog, it crawls it, and then you find websites they were linking out to that don't exist anymore, or like the pages are broken.
Miso all the time.
And then you hit them up, and
There
you're
it
like,
is.
hey man,
Miso.
hey person, hey yoga person, I was on your site and this was broken. I just want to let you know.
Yep.
Yeah, your Bikram page is that brown store.
Dude,
your
this-
hot yoga is
This GeoCities page you were linking to
Broken
doesn't
link
work
building
anymore.
Definitely works.
your beginner's downward dog is broken.
So I just want to let you know that, and here's actually like a resource for it. If you want to like throw that in there, throw that bad boy in there. And by the way, I talk about yoga all the time. I have a blog about it. I saw that this page was out of date. Do you mind if I like give you some content for it?
Yeah.
Boom. What do you think like the response rate is? Because you guys email website owners, or
Yeah, people don't call, do they? Is that a thing?
Sometimes.
I used to call occasionally if it was a really good site.
Yeah. So
Really?
we'll call
I'd
sometimes.
love to know what that
That's
startup
something
looks
we're
like.
starting to do. At first, towards the end of 2018, I was kind of handling all the calls for the most part, and we'd get links out of a lot of them. I think half the people just want to hear that there's a real person on the other side of it.
I'll tell you how far like I've taken it.
Like a real person that
Like-
is within 2,000 miles of where they are.
Yeah, not some guy in some cave in Pakistan pounding
They
away on
don't,
some
they don't
keyboard.
live in caves.
So like I pitched a website one time,
That's hilarious.
and like my pitch for the article was like, I'm gonna interview this person that's like important to the thing that you talk about, and like you can post it on your website if you give me a link back. And like and they agreed to it, and I was like, man, I don't know that person at all that I pitched this idea from, and so I had to like call the person and do like a professional interview over the phone, like I was like an actual reporter, and have the article written up. I
Oh,
didn't
so
write
you're
that all.
scamming people too.
Ladies
No,
and gentlemen, that is
no,
an
it's
extreme
not.
case of what you can do to.
Didn't you
That
use
is
the
not
word-
a scam.
Didn't you use
Do
the
what it
word
takes.
pretend?
What do you mean work pretend?
Never mind.
Like be like fake people?
I believe the
Never
term.
mind.
I believe the quote
I've definitely
was
been fake people.
pretended to be an actual reporter.
I pretended to be someone of importance.
No, I said it was like I was a reporter. I didn't pretend to be a reporter. I was just like, I write for this website.
That's good.
We're interviewing people about this thing. We'd love to talk to you and get
Did you get a link?
Absolutely got a link.
See, and that's what matters, folks.
Dude, but I'd never like done anything like that. I never interviewed someone. I was sitting in my office.
So I
sitting
can't
in
condone anyone on our team to do that. So
you don't?
Yeah,
that's how you get the best links, man. You got to risk it if you want the biscuit.
Yeah, but if you think about who they'd be doing it to, it would probably be someone who's getting a lot of trouble.
Do you know what's like really hilarious about this particular podcast? We're doing it at Paul's place, and I'm sitting in between both of them right now, and it's definitely like the devil angel thing going on because you have Paul on one side that's just like, I don't know, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, but like you're also a devil. You're worse than me on this stuff.
Why?
That's a podcast for another day.
You like the darker side of it, don't you?
I like it both. Like the gray.
We don't even want to get into.
Hey, that's a side of link building.
We'll have a podcast all about me one day. Then I guess
we're on the tight side of it. There's other industries that you can be a little bit more flexible in, and you purchasing links is an option.
See, yeah. Right. Ooh, purchasing links.
Not ours though.
So going back to outreach. How often do you do follow-ups? So like you email people, they don't respond. Do you do like, hey, I was following up?
So
on the same.
Yeah. So a follow up.
So like how often?
In general, when we train them to do it at weekly intervals. We only do 3 follow-ups, but again, it's kind of on them after they're on their own and they're allowed.
You do it through like a platform. You do it through like a platform so you can see if they open it, and if they open it, you're like, oh, obviously I'm going to do a follow-up. People that don't open it after like a couple times are like probably not going to open it.
Using platforms like that really really work well if you have a larger team.
Do you know what the percentage like your open rate is right now? And do you A/B test your subject line like constantly?
So we just started doing testing some of our subject lines. So somewhat. And the open rate for the last 6 months, we were actually just looking at that today, is about 45%.
That's way too high.
I'm telling you,
it should be lower.
It's funny with some of that rum that
I have a little bit sitting
here.
I
think if I was like in charge of your team, I would have been worse than you because if I got an open rate of 30%, I would have stopped testing. So 45 is insane.
Hold on, I'll pull it up right here.
Intermission.
Let's all go loving. Get some rum to drink.
Oh, so while you're pulling.
While we're waiting, yeah, we'll talk about the rum.
I have another. This is called bonus content. This is something that. So I did this great blog, and it's great because I made it, and it was about what Oh boy. So it's like what are like legal search results comprised of? So it's like you do a search, the top 10 results, like what percentage makes up the results. So websites are obviously like number one. But then I was like looking at Avo and FindLaw and like all those other ones, and Justia jumped up like through the roof, like in the past year from 2017 to 2018. Justia, for your listeners, sorry I'm going on a legal tangent, but this is like a major legal directory. And I was looking, I'm like, why did just this particular directory jump up? And it jumped up significantly to like only number 1 positions. So like it used to be like scattered, like 2, 3, 4, 5,
like across 10. The board.
But then it jumped up constantly just to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And I did SEMrush link building, and their link building, it looks like this. It's just flat. And in 2018, it goes boop, like through the roof.
That tells you how important relevant links are.
And all it did was prove that Justia doubled down, and they like got a team where just like, we're doing link building in 2018, and their links are like in the thousands, and they got to number 1.
I lied. It wasn't 35, it's 29.6.
See, hear that? I said 30%. So you only have
I fucked up.
To get a little bit more. Well, I told you 45% was way too high.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, fellas and ladies.
It was amazing.
I'm inclusive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's actually gone down slightly since January.
So 30% is something that I would probably not try to improve any further. I mean, if you're a psycho, go for it. But I think 30% is like amazing.
So I have to.
It's your job. Did you have someone that tell you like what an ideal one, or they just want it? It's always trending upwards?
Right now, it's. I mean, he can attest.
I think that's a what is that called? It's not a practice. It's something in like insanity. Like once something hits a certain percentage, it just can't go up anymore, and that's that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, once
there's only so much you can get.
There's only so much you can do. That's like someone being like, it should be 100%, and it's like, sure, but it won't ever, and that's that. Let's focus on.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's like diminishing returns for like what you're gonna get, right? if there's only so many map pack terms in a city and you rank number one for all of them, you can't expect like 100% growth next year.
Sure.
You know, because like you're maxed out on like what essentially the growth could potentially be.
We are maxed out size wise.
Yeah.
I think
we've
30% is fine. If you ever want to do like one other thing, maybe like check in with like other teams that do the same thing and engage what their other open rates are, and if they're about the same, then like just focus on.
I
that.
have one other person that I sometimes talk to that does similar thing in the same space. We kind of go back and forth on that sometimes. But
So what's like is there like a bonus structure for link builders?
we on our internal team, yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Cool.
So we try to put some more value on obviously higher DA links. Anything at the .gov or .edu is also.
What metric do you use? Do you use that Maz's DA?
Yeah, it is Maz's metric.
So is it
Third
basically
party
just
metric,
like,
but it is a common metric.
it's just like DA? Is that what it's all
Domain
based
authority.
on?
Me, I'm a CF guy.
Oh, are you?
I'm a CF guy.
Majestic.
Mhm.
Majestic CF is me.
Great, another great tool.
That's me in a nutshell. Not TF though.
I just have
I think
Ryan
Trustflow's
build my links for me. Don't worry about it.
Trust
So,
flow.
We don't even do that often. They're pretty good links.
yeah, they're not bad.
They break a
get
couple
the job
things.
done. You know. So what we talked a little bit about this before because I've used the tool. I know you're trying to get it, but let's talk about like what I think can kind of take like link building to like the next level, and it's a little bit expensive though, and that's what's it called again?
Cision.
Cision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we did a demo since this last recording. We did a demo with Meltwater.
So I don't know anything about
yeah,
Meltwater.
Yeah, they did. They wanted sounded like a great tool and all, but they wanted 3 times what Cision wanted.
Yeah, so we're doing a real shitty job of explaining to our listeners what
third-party tools, right?
we're doing a really poor
Probably.
job of explaining to our listeners what any of these tools do.
I mean, I hardly know what
I'm
this
more
crap
worried
is.
about
Yeah.
half the other shit.
So
I
tell us
said.
about what
Okay,
Cision
thing,
does,
no.
and then tell us about what Meltwater.
Yeah, Meltwater was the other one that.
Yeah, so
that
explain to us a little bit
Cision
about what
is-
they
is
do.
a tool. The thing that we would use it mainly for would be the database that they have. You could send different pitches out to the database, which contains I think it's over 100,000. It's got journalists, reporters.
We're talking about
Yeah.
like the
So it's a giant database of all these reporters out there that you can sort by the topics they write about.
So we're talking about the Haro first, and they should be last time.
Yeah,
we were talking about
so
this.
so if
Yeah.
you've ever heard of Haro, which is Help a Reporter Out, and we've talked about it on previous podcasts, but
Probably
it's
briefly.
it's a part of the same family of products. So I think Cision is like, is it 1,200? What is it a year now?
So that I've learned that varies. It all depends on
Your salesperson?
It's like 150%. Depends on your sales.
Yeah, I've worked at places where it's been like 2,600 every, I think a quarter or something like that.
So we were quoted for 4,500 for the year.
Yeah, so you got a better deal
Yeah.
than what I was quoted.
Wanted to give us the same year and wanted us 15,000.
15,000.
15,000.
Yeah, and it does the exact same thing, correct?
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It provided Meltwater. You had to buy a little extra, all their products, and it came with social monitoring and stuff like that, which we didn't get with Cision. We didn't buy that. We just were kind of using it for the database, but.
So what's really, really great about this, so on top of being able to sort down to people that are professionals in the reporting industry by the topics that they write about, right? You have their contact info, but you can sort of customize the email campaigns that you send out to people. So I know I used it in my previous job, and we were able to sort of like make a really awesome looking kind of splash page type of email that like pushed like the experts that we had, what they were talking about. And what's really, really good, if you actually get someone to, agree to work with you, they always go back to the same people over and over again when they have to write about that topic, because like ultimately they have deadlines and they have like X amount of articles they have to write every month. So it's a job, just like everyone else has a job, and you want your job to be as easy as humanly possible. So, they kind of go back to that same well if they have an expert to talk about it. And so you can continually get really good links that are going to be published on like the front page of some sort of major publication regularly, if you can kind of make those relationships happen. So I would, if you know how to do it, if you can create some really good email templates, if you have that skill set, and if you have like a medium-sized budget to work with, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone that's like doing this all on their own. But if you have that sort of situation, it's really like a game changer as far as quality of links that you can get.
It's really good for mommy blogs.
Yeah. Yoga blogs.
Hot yoga.
Small mom and pop shops, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Old
good
mommy
stuff.
blogs.
It's
can
been
buy those
around.
pretty cheap.
I don't want to talk. I realize how much I don't like talking about the same thing I talked about already before. But
Yeah.
the reason that we don't really do help report out as much is because it just got so saturated with so many people that that when they reach out and they look for an expert, if you don't respond within about 15 seconds, you're probably not going to get
And
it.
they've already gotten their poor inboxes. Rest in peace, their inbox is all I can say.
Yeah,
You know.
terrible. And
I think I've
certain
gotten 3 or 4
industries, like the one we're in, there hasn't been too many opportunities where we would have an expert that's
honestly,
speak on something.
it's a crappy deal too, because you get no guarantee of a link. Sometimes they don't even like I've done it for like SEO stuff before, where I've given information and stuff, and they don't even put your name in there. They just take it
They don't
and
link
write the
top-
article.
They don't link the Toppler.
No, man.
What the
They don't rate to
links?
Toppler. They don't rate to anything.
Give me a break.
They just steal. They just use you, steal your information, act like it's their own,
Throw it away.
put it in there.
Have you
sucks.
Have you guys heard about the e-commerce one? I forget what it's called. I did it like about 8 years ago. But there's one where you submit your product
MySpace.
or whatever it is. No, it's not MySpace. I don't know I forget what it's called. So this is gonna be so helpful to everyone listening. But there are ones out there where if you give your product away for free to like mommy blogs and review websites, they'll like review it and then you'll get links that way.
no, that sounds pretty cool. I've never.
Yeah, those exist. And then
That
you
goes for me. If anyone wants to send me
Product
shit to
launch.
review,
Well, you have to have a social following. So you have to be like, you can do like a unless you don't, you're like, wait a second, mother.
swallow
I have
sadness.
like
damn it.
50,000 Twitters. All right.
All right,
I don't.
So okay,
But that exists, so I don't know
wanna-
what it's called. Look for it. Okay.
I want to get into a sort of a fun topic, and it's like, what's the biggest problem that you have with your link building team that you have to like what's your biggest headache?
And on top of that, how do you motivate people besides
Yeah.
money?
So
You're like, more money.
right now, my biggest headache
So
is we took a dip at the end of the year because a lot of people are out on vacation and stuff. Not just our team, but people that we're outreaching to and stuff like that. And so far, we're over halfway through the month, and it's not picking up as fast as we kind of thought it would. So that right now, that's currently my biggest headache.
What do you
And
mean picking up, like the amount of
The amount- our
emails?
response
Or-
rate.
Like people
Is-
coming back from vacation. If it's any consolation, a lot of people didn't even come back until like January 7th or 8th.
Absolutely.
So if that says anything, because I know that firsthand for some other
Yeah.
crap.
That definitely is playing a part, but also the incident where I have my entire team's
You
remote
can't
right
just
now.
blame plumbers all the time.
I'm not. No, trust me, we're not. Come to the office tomorrow and have lunch.
There's
More than
electricians.
happy if- is it
There's
lunch time, you guys?
gutters.
Yeah, go.
We can blame all kinds of
Yeah, Paul's
things. The
done that.
carpets are bad.
Yeah.
We got lots of problems over there.
But yeah, and so added to the part of the headache is I don't have them able to where I can just call them into the conference room and we can go over stuff. And right now, there's on the team, we have people at different skill levels. We got one guy that's been there for a while and knows what he's doing. I have 2 people that have only been there a short time.
I got to tell you though, like going back to like when I was never just a link builder, but like part of my responsibilities as an SEO early on in my career was working with a link building team and like doing a part of the work too. So like I had to do pitches, and we used Raven tools to.
Oh my god, I forgot about
Back in
Raven.
the
Yeah,
day.
it's not a bad tool. It's not
Still nowadays.
it depends on what
People
their
still
affiliate
use it.
thing is, man. I don't
What is it
know.
like now? What's it like now?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I mean,
like
if
the
you
first-
set it up
I've seen
correctly,
it since I did like
it's not
research.
terrible. Like you can send the emails through it, you can get the responses.
I didn't even
you
know
can
it
see
did
reminders.
emails. I use it for analytics and reporting.
If you do,
8 years ago.
if you use it correctly, like it can be a good tool. It can be a good tool to use at a large scale with a lot of people.
That's good to know.
But we use that, and I would just like, I would hate like following up. Like that was the biggest problem for me.
What was your follow up like? Did you get my email or what?
Man, I would just.
Is that not a
like-
good follow up?
He's like,
Yo, did you get my email?
Like I saw you open it. What is your problem?
If you don't, start with yo.
I will hack your site and I will take the shit
yeah, what's
down.
real quick? What's your first follow up normally sound like?
I know where your children go to school.
Is that even true?
I'll find you. I'm watching you right now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you heard me because you answered it accurately.
Yeah. No, what's your follow-up?
What's my follow-up?
Yeah, like generally.
What's the follow-up?
My first follow-up?
Yeah, you used to do link building yourself, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so you know.
So our first follow-up's pretty short. Something along the lines of,
Hey, man.
yo, homie, did you get my message last week? Hit me back. No.
Do you say like, I saw that you opened it and why didn't you respond?
No.
So we were always coached.
I would like to.
We were always coached to like flatter a little bit, and so we're giving away all the dirty secrets, right? It's
You're so smart.
You know, you come to the website, you read something, and you're like, "Dear so and so,
Yeah, try to personalize it.
hi, you
no
know,
secret.
I am a big fan of your site. I noticed in this article, blah blah blah.
I see you don't eat meat.
I
That's
read
so cool.
last week
Oh, really? Is that
that
a
you
thing?
talked about this thing,
You do
and
yoga? Wow.
it was really meaningful
Hot
to
stone
me
therapy?
that you wrote that.
Oh, so you're actually like looking at their website and seeing what they updated and then commenting on it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, you're reading it.
look
You're
at
picking
that.
some
Oh, we
articles.
We coach to do that. as
Talk
well.
about it.
It takes a little. You have to find the balance.
You're-
Of spending
you're-
too much time.
You
on
give a
it.
little flattery.
Your white paper on photovoltaic panels going
Oh, I
into
love
trending
it.
versus OUC versus
I-
Duke was
that was a nice.
fascinating.
I'm really glad that you threw that in there. Photovoltaic panels. Yeah. He's alluding to a project we're working on. Big things to come, folks.
I'll definitely give you a link, pal.
Yeah.
Ooh, sweet.
I have access to those websites, so I'll just get us links anyways. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, as an SEO, one of my first jobs, I would get emails. Even to this day, I still get emails that are like ask about links and stuff. And my last job, I had a forum, a website that had like a huge Forex forum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would get emails all the time about like guest posts. So I was like on the receiving end of it. And the people that were like, dude, listen,
Were you selling them?
I don't really care, but like, I'll give you a link back if you give me a link to this site. And I was like, all right. Or people are just like, man, I'll just pay you $500 for a link.
You personally, though.
I will just pay you $500 for a link.
Man, you're
And I was like,
breaking it
done.
in with an authoritative
And you did it?
website.
Yeah.
God, that's like a side business.
And they
You know,
didn't
guy
care.
that used to sell DMOS links like that.
Well, back when DMOS
Back in the
existed.
day, yeah.
Wait, you worked at DMOS?
No, I did not.
I was like, what did I just hear?
No.
Yeah.
Actually, my old manager.
I tried many
worked in
times
Tampa.
to be a moderator, and they shot me down.
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time.
My old
Wow,
manager was a
shit.
moderator at DMOS.
Really?
Right,
That's
yeah.
cool. Do you remember when you used to do like a backlink analysis, and there'd be like a whole column that's like, does it have DMOS? And it'd be like, yeah.
Get it.
And they're like,
Dude,
yeah, it has DMOS.
I showed him our whole DMOS strategy for
Isn't
links.
it pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a guy that we discovered that.
Oh yeah.
We're not telling you guys about it,
Yeah,
by the
no,
way.
that's for an advance.
Screw you guys.
That's for the premium podcast members.
You want to know? Too bad. You just
You have
pay
to
us.
sign up for our freaking VIP mastermind elite freaking
Yeah, and we're
SEO group.
Yep, and we're setting up the credit card information. thing now, so-
$8,000.
Way
a
better than
minute.
Neil Patel's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just kidding. Neil
his
Patel's the
podcast-
greatest person ever,
Yeah, whatever.
according to Neil Patel. Anyways,
Roll up to your
AWS
house
is
and
going to
whoop that
transcribe
ass.
this and
Oh.
submit it to Google.
Neil Patel.
Wow,
I
we
do
gotta
really
sign
hate
off,
Neil
right?
Patel. Just
That's cool.
Do you guys transcribe the whole thing?
Well, now thanks to AWS, we do.
That's great.
Yeah,
It's
we're
be
gonna
like one long
start doing
article,
that, man.
all crawlable
It's
by
going to be
Google.
one run-on sentence. That's what it's going to be.
All right. So
Transcribe
going
your
back to
stuff,
the
folks.
Ryan's question, I mean, link building is monotonous, right? It's
Yeah.
probably the most monotonous job in SEO I can think of, and it's like the thing that SEOs want to do the least of, right?
But it's also the most important. So that's why it's
Which is
great.
the irony of it, right? So how do you keep
This guy
them?
just whispered, content is king. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Got it. Magical fairy unicorn land where you just write good content and ranks well, right? So
That combo.
There's certain
So how do you
industries
keep
out
them-
there where Google maannually assigns the number one spot to just some random website
dude,
nowadays.
let's not get into that.
Oh, I love that.
So let's talk a little about how you keep them motivated to to keep producing and be happy with their job.
So one of the good ways that we do motivate them is, like I was saying before, is with financial.
The bonus structure.
We do.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make a normal salary, and then they're also bonused out on the quality of their links. Like I said,
Pizza.
yeah. Oh yeah, pizza's for everyone.
Well, what kind of pizza?
The good
thin
kind.
crust.
Pizza Bruno.
Hey, Pizza Bruno, which is down the street. So, okay. So, looking out on the horizon, is there anything that you're going to do different in the coming year?
And we don't have time for a 5K
Yeah.
or a
We,
10K.
we can't talk about that.
Or a half marathon.
He already has one of those planned.
Oh, you do? Cool. We'll talk about it next time.
But,
Yeah, we'll see if that
yeah,
becomes
so,
reality.
what do you have planned for like 2019 that's like maybe different than what you guys were doing last year?
Like I said, we're going to probably try to clean up some of the stuff that we've been doing in our space. We kind of are under the microscope a little bit more, so we're going to try to clean up some of our ways and try to explore some new ways of outreach, like I was mentioning with the Cision and the PR.
So, yeah, okay, so you're going to hit Cision big.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to hire hitmen to come out and try to strong arm some local businesses for links anymore. Because that's why I heard clean up your act. It sounds pretty violent.
Well, I know we talked a little bit, just the two of us, casually about doing more local stuff. That's like
We ran it.
scholarships. We talked about what were some other things.
We might have to do a part 2 because we're at 40 minutes.
Oh man,
right now.
shit! We should probably end this.
Yeah,
pretty
we
soon.
could.
Yeah, because if it goes beyond 40 minutes, I start ranting about UCF. You know how that goes.
They lost. We can't talk about it.
lost.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so okay. Well,
But
you know,
Mackenzie can walk, so it's cool.
yeah.
So
So
he did admit he almost lost his leg, which was terrifying.
Yeah,
what do you guys think of this rum, though?
it's good.
Anyone listening?
Oh, yeah,
I
Paul-
distilled some rum.
What he did is he took Bacardi and he poured it into a mason
I got a
jar.
lot of weird
I'm drinking
hobbies, and my girlfriend bought me a distill.
Don't let him fool you.
A still
they're
a still
cool
distiller is
hobbies.
still a still.
A
He like
still.
redoes surfboards, brews his own beer.
I like my
I don't want
hobbies.
to brag. But my girlfriend bought me a still, and I made some rum with my dad. And it is, I feel like it's pretty strong.
Rum
right?
still.
Rumble still's good?
Rumble
Yeah.
Oh,
That with a little bit of you.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Back when he was good. Anyways, all right. Well, guys, thank you for listening again. I hope you got some good stuff out of this about, link building on a large scale, maybe building out a
I think
team.
we should do a part 2 because.
I think we could do part 2. I really like having Swanee here. He's a good guest.
And now the part 2 starts now. Okay, so another 40 minutes. Here we go. Oh, no,
We're kidding. No.
Yeah.
I was about to start
You
going.
really just like,
I need more to drink.
Next time,
more rum. This jar is
Anyways,
almost done.
but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Swanee, thanks for coming in and
Maybe
being our
next time
first.
I'll be less nervous. It'll be fine.
Being
You
our
were-
first.
that was only the first
You
time.
did fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. This was the first time.
Yeah. The
This
first time
rum's
for the
really
second
good,
time.
folks.
This rum was the first time.
He's gonna get it bottled and labeled soon. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
So yeah, but thanks for coming in and describing a little bit about how to do large scale link building and manage a team for that.
I think next time we'll talk about the 5K again because that was like kind of a fun conversation. We'll talk about
Talk about a lot of local stuff.
Yeah.
and then also we got our hands on like a really cool document with about 500 pages
Oh,
worth of
man.
stuff that
Guys.
we have to go over.
Like 2019 is gonna be
Lit. Okay, cool.
huge
I'm gonna
with
start using,
information.
like, teenager
We're gonna talk to you
Bruh.
guys about some stuff that's gonna blow your mind. So stay tuned.
Cool. Okay, bye. Oh no.
All right.
That's
No. All right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Paul Warren,
And I'm Ryan Klein.
and this has been another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. Goodbye.
You say peace.
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 Bye.
Bye. See ya. Bye.
Bye.